thank God for studying Torah. However, look at the next page. Okay? And if we're talking about blessings, and there are blessings for studying Torah, he wants to kind of give us for blessings that we all can really identify with. What are they?
Prayer should issue constantly from the lips of a father and a mother, that their children should become students of Torah, righteous and good character.
It's not going to happen by itself. Now, sometimes people say it's like word of prayer, it's only words. It's not just words. You know, there are no, by the way, as we know, there are no guaranteed results, right? And I will be even more pointed. I am certain that there were prayers and wishes that our parents had for us that we didn't quite always fulfill. Whereas my wife says, everybody did something that our parents didn't approve of, including our parents and our grandparents. You know, that's okay. And if we keep it in mind regarding our children, they could breathe a little easier. You know? And as we know, as wise parents, it's good not to see everything. That's right. Something's going to have to turn away from. It's not so good because if you're always living under the gaze of a watchful parent, it's not so good. And grandparents especially shouldn't be. You got to give people room to breathe. It says, however, that's how you are externally. But how should you be internally? A prayer should issue constantly from the lips of a father and mother. You know, there's something we hope for, and we really care about this. You know, and I want our kids to know that we have hopes for them, and there are things that we have wishes for them. I'm not going to say you better do this or else. I care about you. I do care about you, and even when you're angry about it, you're angry at me, I still care about you. And even when you say you quote I hate you, you remember that one? Remember when you said it? Some of us said it. When you said I hate you,
I never said it.
It was only that out of love. Yes, and that's all right too. So there's a prayer we never. Yeah, you were a good girl. You know.
I was.
I know you. I know that time. Well, the boys would. Did you say?
I wouldn't face one.
You never faced the. Did you ever think it? Good for you. But this happened during Shiva. I would have to be at a Shiva call, and I knew it because the person sitting Shiva said, Rabbi, can we take a walk? I said, sure. I said, no, Rabbi, my mother and I, we really didn't get along so well all the time. And we have a conversation. And I said, maybe there were some times when maybe your mother wasn't so lovable. And maybe you weren't so lovable. And that's okay. And by the way, there isn't a mitzvah to love parents. What's the mitzvah? It's a big difference. I expect people should act respectfully. Whatever that means. There are things that shouldn't be said. But in terms of love is something else. It's a different kind of a feeling. So you shouldn't feel guilty. Not now. I saw something very brilliant. There's the Rabbinical Assembly published a new high holiday prayer book, a Machzor. Did we have it here?
Yes.
Among the prayers, which was very powerful, a prayer of a child, a Yizkor prayer for an abusive parent. Now that's a whole new place which we never thought of before. Now, I don't know what you should say, what you shouldn't say, but we ignored it. Ignoring it is not the way. Because if you're in a huge congregation and everybody's praying, thanking God, I bless the memory of my loving parents who did terrible things to me, you can't just ignore it. And the prayer did something with it. Well, there's a bracha, by the way, for a mother who lost a baby. Happens. It's life also. How does the things to be dealt with? These kind of things. So that the prayers we say should be good for us. So he gives some, and he says, one should have intense devotion. He goes on when saying the bracha ahaval rabba before Shema, and the blessing for Torah study. And when you say this verse, so we shouldn't have struggled in vain. What I'm left by this bracha is the Chafetz Chaim is saying, if you individuals think that we are struggling with raising our children, we aren't alone. There are others. If he puts it in the code of Jewish law, we're all struggling. Yes.
I would have thought you might have added in this the prayer that you make on Shabbat for the children.
Tell us about, what is that?
Blessing for your sons and your daughters.
Yes, I know if you do that.
And then you end with the benediction.
When you get the children together and give them a blessing, it's an experience. And by the way, I would say it's never too late. And you can say to kids, the things I want to say to you, and I want to read this. I'll say it in my words. I think children are craving blessing. I don't mean like necessarily a theological blessing, but it's very important because the blessing is. I asked this Friday morning class we had at the men's club. I said, what blessings did our parents give us, and what blessings do we have to give to our children? Not money. I'm not talking about money. And very often parents, fathers especially, speaking as one, try to buy our kids off because it's easy. Give the kid a buck. Come on, give him the car. What's the big deal? It's a big deal. And the words I think are more.